Exactly right.
Big win for the Guards yesterday, Bo.
Yes.
Another one.
It certainly was. And I think deservedly so. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I said last week when the Guardians salvaged the final game of the series against the Royals, when they were down 5-2 in the 7th inning, and they were tied for first, and the Royals had the tiebreaker. So the Royals, if they had held on, would have been up a game with the tiebreaker.
Yep.
The Guardians came back and won that game. I said that's a season-defining win. It's a season-saving win, and it has been all Guardians since then. The Twins have done nothing. The Royals have not won a game since then.
No.
They've barely scored.
And Salvi
They've
Perez,
been
who was hitting 900 against the Guardians in the series or whatever. He was actually hit, I think, 700 in the series.
Yeah.
He's like 2 for 25.
They're all ice cold in their lineup.
And they got a bad blow with the injury. I think that took the wind out of their sails.
The injury is their third best hitter.
It took the wind out of their sails. They don't look like the same group that was here last week.
They haven't scored at all since that game. And I'll tell you something else. In Lucas Erceg, their closer, got hurt too. And another thing, I also said, how many weeks I was saying call up Kyle Manzardo.
And look what he's done.
5 hits in 3 games. He's got 2 home runs. He's looked great so far. Yep. A lot of times these top prospects, they come up, they're overwhelmed, they struggle a little bit. We talked yesterday, I think, about like when NFL rookies play before they're ready. Well, sometimes that happens in baseball too.
Sure.
A guy comes up, it's his first experience. I don't know where to take my bags. I don't know where to go in this clubhouse. And he's come back up. He's clearly way more relaxed. He's playing much better. So let me give you a third thing that I'm going to be right about if they do it. Enough with Tyler Freeman. He is bringing nothing to the table whatsoever. Send his ass to the minors. He's not even playing really.
No, I feel like they're done with that.
Yeah, bring up George Valera.
Yeah.
Valera can hit righties. He's another bat that can hit righties. And let's go. Valera's been he has like 1,000 AAA at bats.
Yeah,
what else does he need to do down there?
He's been next forever.
Yeah, let's go.
We have to see him. The one thing that I'm going to do, and I was critical of the Guardians 2 weeks ago on these pitching moves, I thought Boyd was a big question mark to me.
Huge. It's panned out so far, big time.
I didn't know. But my God, Cobb on Sunday had front of the rotation stuff.
He was nasty.
Took a perfect game into the 7th inning. I'm glad he gave up 2 hits to start the inning because
he got him right out of there.
He was putting Vogt in a really difficult situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had a said pitch count. I would have said no more than 80 to 85.
Right, he was right there.
I mean, hell, it's his third start in a year.
Yeah.
And he was there, but you can't pull a guy with a perfect game.
Not with a perfect game.
And so, Steven, I think he would have done the right thing and pulled him after the 7th inning had he gotten through the 7th. And why not go for the combined perfect game? I would trust Chase to get 3 up, 3 down. And I would expect
Clase, you mean.
Smith and Clase.
Yeah.
I would think that they might be able to do it and make a little history with a combined perfect game.
Right.
Why not?
But
he got saved. But to me, the future of the last 5 starts for the Guardians, their pitchers have given quality starts.
Yeah, and listen.
1 run, couple of hits, each of them.
And Cobb and Boyd have been great, but the key with this rotation is Bibee and Williams. Those guys got to. I know they're young. I know they're not that experienced, but they're the most talented pitchers the Guardians have. They're both high-level, front-of-the-rotation talents, and Bibee has had a better year than Williams, who missed some time, but they've both been inconsistent of late, Bibee. Both of them in their last starts, in these 2 starts against Kansas City. Huge games.
Yep.
Both pitched great. That was big. They need to keep this rolling. And with Manzardo in the lineup and Lane Thomas finally hitting, and remember, he's got a track record, so it's not out of nowhere for Lane Thomas. He's been a really good player. I know those numbers look awful, but he's been good the last. They hit that big home run. Was it Monday? I'm lost. Yeah, Monday.
Whatever the second was. Yeah, Monday.
Yeah. Hit the big home run Monday to give him the lead. If Lane Thomas can get back to the player he was. In Montreal, in Washington the last 2 years.
Man, you just jumped back 20 years.
Yeah, right. And if Kyle Manzardo's the real deal, the lineup's all of a sudden a lot deeper. That makes a huge difference.
Well, for me, it's in the playoffs, it's about pitching. And suddenly you look at Cobb and Boyd, who have given great quality starts.
Yeah.
Bibee, I was starting to get shaky on, but I think Bibee had, if you're going to say that the win Wednesday of last week against the Royals was a kind of a season-defining win, and I agree with you, I think that last night in the 6th inning,
that was huge
for Tanner Bibee. It was one of those innings that he'll fall back on in October.
Yeah.
He had the bases loaded with nobody out. He'd walked 2 guys after being up 0-2 on the second walk.
Yeah.
He gets a hard line drive out to left. The runner, instead of tagging and coming home, it was Pham at third, slipped, couldn't come.
Yep.
Then they got the fly out to center, and the run scored. So I thought, well, if you can get out of this with one run.
Yeah.
Then he gets a couple of, I think he got another strikeout after that.
Yeah.
But I liked his moxie
was
coming
great.
off the mound. His energy and his fire. That's a bulldog. I need some Oral Hershiser in all of my pitchers. And Tanner Bibee displayed that yesterday in the 6th inning. And now I think going into the playoffs with the way guys are pitching, and also remember this I don't think we can discount this as happening. There is a guy in the minor leagues that the Guardians have with playoff experience that once upon a time was the second choice coming into the season to be the Cy Young.
Miles Straw? No, I'm playing with you. Go ahead.
Don't even go there. No.
McKenzie?
Why not? We know he can do it. He's been down there working on his control.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't tried him in the pen. I
don't either, and I
think he could be an effective one-inning pitcher for the rest of this year.
You've been calling that for like 2 years.
No, but especially since he hasn't been himself.
Yeah.
Like, if it changes a pitcher's mindset. I remember Smoltz when he went from starter to reliever, and Eckersley made similar comments. When you get ready to start a game, you're thinking of it as, I want to get 27 outs. And that's a daunting task and sometimes can overwhelm you. When you're coming in a 7th inning situation, you got to get 3 outs. It changes the playing field.
Yeah.
My hope is they bring up Tristan sometime in September, and they give him an opportunity to pitch out of the pen for the last 2 weeks of the season. Let's see how he handles that role. He could be a secret weapon. This guy, last year, coming into the season, was the second pick to be the Cy Young. So why not?
Many moons ago, one Mr. Carlos Carrasco was struggling as a starting pitcher early in his Guardians, at the time Indians, career.
Yep.
He was a mess.
And they
he had a
fixed him
6 ERA. They went to the bullpen. He spent 3/4 of a season there. He was lights out, and he was he's not going to be a Hall of Famer, but he was an excellent starter the rest of his career until the last couple of years.
I agree.
I think the same thing could happen. Get McKenzie in the pen, even start him next year in the pen. Let him build up that confidence again. I think he's lacking for confidence because he's been beat around so much of late.
I feel like you and I are playing tennis and they're watching.
Yeah.
We're back and forth.
Listen, it was volley and serve, and
I'm just excited the way they've bounced
I'm
back.
very excited.
It's playing really well.
Terms,
They're going to win the division. I know you're big with jinxes and stuff. I don't want to jinx it, but that twin.
There's 23 games left.
Yeah, you got the Dodgers coming up after this Royals game.
That's not going to be.
That's going to be a tough series. Then you got to take care of business. The White Sox.
Yep.
The White Sox are going to break the record for the
Grady
worst
got
team
thrown
ever.
out last night.
I did see that.
And by the way, I thought that was one of the worst umpiring jobs I've ever seen.
Did you see the play where the White Sox players collided?
I did. And the call on it was the White Sox are full-on White Soxing right now.
It is crazy. They're 5-45 in their last 50 games, I think.
That is correct.
I mean, that's just impossible.
So
that's happening.
So I pulled my abacus out here, and it says right here, according to ESPN, the Guardians have a 99% chance of making the playoffs as of today.
Which is weird because they have the same record as the Orioles, and they've given the Orioles a 100% chance to make the playoffs.
They have 88% chance to clinch the division and 76% chance to clinch a bye. Now, my question is, do the Guardians need a bye? And I say yes. I want that bye in the worst way. I do not want to play a first.
They don't need one, but they want one.
I don't want to play a first-round game.
Everyone needs a bye.
Yeah,
everyone needs a bye.
I'll take that bye.
I mean,
rest up.
Some teams can handle it not having a bye, but
you get into rest versus rust, and in baseball, that is very real, especially with hitters. You take them out of their rhythm.
Yep.
I think it would be good to have a bye. The most important thing, though, in terms of seeding for the Guardians is they're way better at home.
They are.
And so you want to be home, especially if you have to play the Yankees.
Right.
Because I got no interest in having to win a game in Yankee Stadium to win a series.
Because we know what Yankee fans will do to our second best hitter, in Josh Naylor.
Yeah.
That's how they
you don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Now, the Yankees aren't playing well right now, which is good.
What's amazing, Bull, is 1 week ago today, the Royals were officially in first place.
They were. Yes.
Because the two teams were tied.
Yep.
And they had the season series win to break the tie. 1 week later, they're 5.5 games out.
What a turnaround. Both teams. The Royals were like this, the Guardians were like this, and now it's just
completely switched.
And the Twins are 4.5 back 4 in the loss column. Guardians have the tiebreaker with the Twins. They do have a big 4-game series coming up.
Big.
At home. By the way,
that will define their season.
So the Guardians play at Kansas City I'm sorry, one more game. Yeah, one more game in Kansas City. Then at that Tampa series is at home, Mike.
Yeah, it says we're at Tampa. That's when we come home.
We
next week.
will fix that.
So you said they have how many games left? I can't remember.
23.
So 23.
The magic number, even though I tend to not do that.
Yeah.
But if you're 4.5 out.
Yeah.
With 23 to game, 23 to play, I think the magic number would be 18.
I think so. I don't know. Math is not my strong suit.
Because they have the tiebreaker with Minnesota, a tie would win it. So,
and here's the good news, too. They have these 7 more games on this road trip, 1 with Kansas City, 3 San Diego, 3 Chicago. After that, all but 3 games at home the rest of the season.
Which is good.
As of today, the wild card round would be the number 6 seed Royals at the Astros. The number 5 seed would be the Twins at the Yankees. And then the ALDS would be the winner of the Royals and Astros versus the Guardians, who are currently the 2 seed. And the winner between the Twins and the Yankees will play the Orioles. This is according to ESPN.
All that is subject to change because there's a half-game difference between the Yankees in the 1.
Yes.
And currently the Guardians who are in the 2.
And there's not, even between Minnesota and Kansas City for the second
who's
wild card.
not out of it is Detroit.
They're not. The AL. What's funny about the AL Central is the AL Central is the only division in baseball with 4 teams over 500, and yet as a division they're 20 games under 500.
Because the White Sox. So a lot of people look at that and say, well, the reason everybody in the Central's having a great year is because they got 12 games or whatever the
that's
number is
not
against
true.
the
I don't
White
buy
Sox.
that. And the Guardians
Well, it
actually do
helps.
not have a good record. They're 500 against the White Sox.
Which is stunning to me.
Well, what
in
do you
the
think
hell
of
does
tonight's
that happen?
pitching matchup for the Guardians? We got Lively versus Lugo. I know the last time Lugo pitched
Yeah.
against Cleveland, he threw a gem.
Yeah,
He did.
Seth Lugo's
He's
had a
tough.
tremendous season. I've always
tough.
liked him when he was on the Mets. They never really gave him a chance to start. He's going to finish top 10, maybe top 5. Top 5 for Cy Young. It's an advantage for Kansas City, but not by a lot because Lively's pitched well. And just right now, the Guardians' bats are hot, and the Royals' bats are ice cold. So
I wish this was an afternoon game. It's getaway day.
Let's go.
I would.
I know they're out to L.A. to watch the magnificence that is Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
You think he's going to get? I think he's going to get 50-50, first player ever.
I do too. By the way, Hosey has potential
40-40.
to go 42-42.
He does,
which
all
no one's
the
ever
Ota-
done before.
Well, until Ohtani.
And now it would be twice in one season.
Yeah, he has
after
a
never
chance.
happening. By the way,
Yeah.
I said this yesterday on Channel 3, and I just want to reiterate this really quickly.
Yeah.
I don't think Cleveland properly appreciates Jose Ramirez. And the reason I say that is when the big stat the last week has been the Guardians have 2 guys with 100 ribs for the second time since 2018.
Right.
Jose Ramirez was the other guy in that tandem with, I think, Encarnacion in 2018. Fast forward 6 years, he's still here doing that. The reason he needs a statue on the day he retires, they need to unveil that statue on his last day. This man did what no one in the 90s did. We had all of those power hitters here. Tomey, Bell, Ramirez. That 90s lineup was murderer's row.
Yeah.
They all took the money and ran. And when Jose Ramirez had a chance to do that, and by most reports, he left $100 million
easy.
on the table from the Blue Jays. He said, no, you know what? I like it here. I like living here. I like playing here. I'm going to stay here. He has been the one constant. Go back and look at all these playoff teams that we've had and look at the starting pitchers. And it really drives home how long he's been here.
Yeah.
And the fact that he decided to choose us after we initially chose him speaks volumes for the kind of guy he is. And here he is. He's been in the league over a decade. Yesterday, I'm watching the game. I was disappointed that New York didn't overturn that call on the slide. That slide into second base, most of us wouldn't be able to execute if it was done in super slow motion. He comes in head first, and now he's got to time the throw and the swipe.
Yeah.
Without taking his eyes off the bag, he feels the ball and the glove and the tag coming and pulls his arms back. And I thought they missed the tag.
That's a tough thing to do. I thought
and
they
he
did
got
too.
both of his arms back in.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because during the broadcast they said if they overturn this is going to be one of the best slides in Major League Baseball history. And it wouldn't have been a hyperbole. And then earlier in the game, or it might have been later in the game, he beats out what would have been the back end of a double play.
Yep.
And then ends up scoring, which at the time was a huge run.
Yeah.
He's doing He's not a 5-tool player. I think he's a 6-tool player.
Well,
because he does everything so well.
Everything off the charts.
I would argue.
I
would argue you never give back the money. That's why he.
I don't blame the other players for taking the money. I don't blame them. But
I don't blame them. I want to honor and recognize the guy that didn't. That's it. I don't look. At the time,
you're not begrudging the other players for taking money. You're just saying,
no,
hey,
exactly right.
This guy was. Number one, he
could have
gave
done
us a hometown discount.
Who does
big
that?
Time. Yeah, nobody.
And on top of that, the guy has been unbelievable.
Amazing.
The model of consistency probably for any Cleveland athlete we've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And you're right.
Outside LeBron James.
You're right, but LeBron took the money. LeBron left.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is Jose Ramirez wants to win. He's watched Frankie Lindor leave. He's going to probably watch Shane Bieber leave. He's watched a lot of guys leave. What's incredible to me is he's probably the most supremely confident player I've ever seen. Just watch him walk back to home plate after he strikes out. He's still got the swagger. He doesn't care.
Look at how pitchers approach him. I mean, they're scared to death
pitchers
when he
easily
comes up.
work around him. That's with a power bat behind him. They don't care. And I'm not begrudging.
He scares me at home, the swagger he has.
Was the last holdout. Ramirez went when he could. Bell went when he could. I don't begrudge those guys at all. It's a small window, and that money has to be forever. I'm fine with that. But what Jose Ramirez did, I think, has gone underappreciated in Cleveland. This guy, to quote our owner, Dolan, when talking about Frankie Lindor, hey, enjoy Frankie while you got him. I want Guardians fans to recognize what we have, a generational player, and appreciate him. And I hope that the Guardians, on his last day in uniform, unveil a statue for him in our little statue monument plaza.
I would rather them take that money they was going to give him and give me 2 pictures instead of the statue.
Final quick thought is the team has owed it to him to spend more money, which they haven't done.
Facts.
And they said they were going to,
and
by the way.
he needs 2 or 3 more years at this level or close to it, and then he's in the Hall of Fame, I think.
Oh, Hall of Fame for sure.
Yeah, I don't think he's there yet.
Not yet, he's not.
But he's getting
a couple
close.
more years, but he's in the Guardians Hall of Fame.
Oh, yes, certainly.
And because of his selflessness, and by the way, he's not just your best player, he plays the hardest. And he sets the tone for everyone else.
Doubt.
That's how
Every
a team
day.
overachieves.
Every day.
The other 24 guys look around and say, Jesus, we can't slack. This guy's the best player, and he runs everything out.
And look what he did to the White Sox. He punched Tim Anderson in the face. They've never been the same.
He knocked Tim Anderson into retirement.
Tim Anderson ain't even playing.
And that's a fact. Tim Anderson is out of baseball, and if you look at his career arc, he was here, and now he's gone. And it all goes back to the punch.
McNuggets is giving us that P.D. Pop.
Yeah,
Go ahead.